Welcome, everyone. Today, in this explainer, we're basically turning our usual analysis into a full-blown culinary masterclass. We're going to break down the ultimate guide to creating the perfect Thai sweet and sour pork. If you've ever wanted to know not just the steps, but the actual science and culinary secrets behind balancing those bright, vibrant flavors, you are in exactly the right place. We're looking at the precise techniques that elevate this from just a basic stir-fry to a dish that'll literally have your whole family asking for seconds. Okay, let's dive into this. Just listen to the bold promise our creator makes right off the bat. Serve it hot with steamed rice, and the whole pot of rice will be gone. I mean, that is exactly the mouth-watering standard we're aiming for today. We aren't just making dinner here, we're creating an experience. This quote perfectly captures the whole vibe of Thai home cooking. It's all about hot, fresh, deeply flavorful food that makes a humble bowl of steamed rice completely irresistible. To reach that empty rice pot level of deliciousness, here's our syllabus for today's lesson. First up, a perfect family meal. Then, secrets to marinating pork. Next, firing up the pan, building the flavor profile, and finally, finishing touches for serving. All right, moving into part one, a perfect family meal, a universally loved dish. So, before we even start chopping, we kind of need to understand why this dish is such a big deal at the dinner table. This isn't some highly experimental recipe. It's the ultimate crowd pleaser. It hits three major sweet spots. It's meant to be enjoyed piping hot right off the wok. It's literally designed to pair perfectly with steamed rice, and it has this mild, sweet, and tangy flavor that's super kid-friendly. Everyone leaves the table happy. Let's move to part two and see how this builds secrets to marinating pork, the foundation of flavor. Okay, so the biggest mistake people make with a stir-fry, just tossing raw, unseasoned meat straight into the pan. No way. In our masterclass, the prep phase is where the real magic happens. For our flavor foundation, all we need is fresh sliced pork, along with two simple pantry staples, sugar and light soy sauce. You don't need a crazy array of spices right now. Just mix these three together. Now, you might be wondering why this simple step matters so much. Well, think of it as the marination rule. Stir-frying is super fast and insanely hot. If you don't let the meat rest with those seasonings first, any sauce you add later is just going to sit on the outside, and the pork inside will be totally bland. By taking just a few minutes to marinate it with that sugar and light soy sauce, the meat absorbs all that deep, rich flavor before it even hits the heat. It's an absolute game changer. All right, part three, firing up the pan. The sizzle begins. Now we're shifting from the calm prep into the high-energy wok cooking. First, get your oil nice and hot and drop in your minced or pounded garlic. You want to hear that aggressive sizzle, stirring it around until it hits this gorgeous, fragrant golden yellow. Then, step two, in goes our perfectly marinated pork. Stir fry this rapidly until it's cooked through. And finally, step three, we're building the bulk of the dish. Toss in the fresh pineapple, crisp cucumber, and sharp onion. Things are moving fast now. Now, what's really interesting about this next bit is a super practical substitution the creator makes. Standard recipes almost always ask for green, yellow, and red bell peppers. But if you can't find them, what do? Easy. Swap them out for large, mild chili peppers in those exact same colors. You still get that awesome visual pop and crunch without losing the soul of the dish. Moving right along to part four, building the flavor profile, striking the perfect balance. Okay, let's slow down a sec because we're getting into some delicate culinary chemistry here. It really all boils down to this. How do you perfectly balance the sweet and the sour? Lean too far one way and it's cloying, too far the other and it's just sharp and unappetizing. The magic is right here in this specific lineup of ingredients. Let's see how they team up in the pan. We start with ketchup. This is vital. It gives you the base sourness and that iconic, vibrant red color. To counter that tartness, we bring in sugar for pure sweetness. Then, to make sure it actually tastes like a savory meal and not, candy, we add seasoning powder for umami depth, light soy sauce for the salty notes, and oyster sauce for an incredible velvety richness. Finally, just a little splash of water brings it all together. The real trick? Once these are in the pan, you've got to stir constantly until everything is completely dissolved into a beautifully glossy sauce. And right in the middle of this chemistry lesson, the creator drops this brilliant, totally customizable tip. If your family loves extra sauce, specifically to drench that steamed rice we talked about, you're in luck. Just add a bit more water, but, and this is key, remember to proportionally increase your seasonings to keep that balance intact. The golden rule, taste as you go. You're the boss in your kitchen, so tweak it until it hits the nail right on the head for your palate. And this brilliantly illustrates one of my absolute favorite insights in this whole explainer. the pineapple secret. A lot of folks assume, hey, it's sweet and sour pork, I need a super sour pineapple. Actually, scratch that. Our creator points out you should opt for a sweeter pineapple. Why? Because the ketchup, plus the fresh tomatoes we're about to add, already pack plenty of acidic punch. If you throw a sour pineapple in there too, the dish just becomes overwhelmingly tart. A sweet pineapple brings this beautiful harmonious contrast. It's a small detail, but it literally elevates the entire meal. Finally, part 5, finishing touches for serving. Visual cues for perfection. You don't need a fancy kitchen thermometer to know when this is done, you just have to trust your eyes. Watch for these 2 visual cues. First, toss your fresh tomatoes in right at the end. Don't cook them down to mush, just stir fry until they soften up and release a little juice. Second, right before you cut the heat, mix in your chopped green onions until they shift to this vibrant, slightly translucent green. That's your sign the essential oils have released. When you see that, kill the heat immediately. You're done. And there you have it, a complete masterclass in prep, execution, and hitting that precise flavor balance. Which leaves us with just one final question to ponder. Now that you know the secrets to the perfect balance, what will you serve this sweet and sour masterpiece with? Will it be that classic steaming bowl of jasmine rice? Or are you thinking of something else? Whatever you decide, get into the kitchen and put these lessons to work. Thanks for hanging out with me for this culinary deep dive on The Explainer. See you next time.